Scott Dixon will be on the outside of row number 1 for the start of today's race. And his teammate to his left, the pole sitter, is Dario Franchitti with a lap of 2:12.9 4-lap average. Down to Chackaroot.
Well, we want to talk about a championship strategy. I go to what Al Davis always said with the Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby. The way you're going to have to do that, be ahead of the other guys. Do it with a pit stop and do it with your in laps and your out laps. We'll track it down here at Firestone Pit Central.
All right. Thank you. There's Jamie Davis, the president of Versus, and he has the distinction of waving the green flag for today's race. And notice that all the IndyCar Series officials are wearing pink here today in recognition of Cancer Awareness Month and the race against breast cancer. All right. The drivers accelerating and lining up 2 by 2 for the start of today's final event of 2009. They come off of corner number 4 with Dario Franchitti leading, and the green flag is out. The Apex Brazil green flag gets us going the final time here in 2009.
Ed Carpenter in the bright green car. Looks like he's going to slot into 3rd. So the 3 championship contenders, Briscoe now has dropped off the top 2.
Boy, you just got to think that Ed Carpenter, who started in 4th position, has to prove something because of his incredible run at Kentucky. Maybe this is his night. And look at this. The championship contenders for Ganassi are side by side.
Here comes Dixon. He's already going for it. When you see all those sparks at the opening of a race, it's because the tire pressures are not up yet. The cars are dragging on the ground. Look at this, right around the outside.
Now, you really would think at this point is, guys, let's not challenge each other too much and get up on the high side. Let's just work together. But also, Dixon, who is on the high side, he said, hey, we need to get the first handful of laps behind us to really figure out what kind of cars we have, and then we'll talk about strategy. Well, so he went right to the high side.
They are going at it already, and now Dixon has a slight advantage if they get to the end of the back stretch and head into turn 1, but Dario fights back on the inside.
And remember, with Dixon just challenging Franchitti to get the lead of this race, let's not forget about those 2 bonus points that you get for leading the most laps. And I know that was a big disappointment for Tim Cindric and what happened with Elio at the beginning of this race, because they wanted Elio up in this mix, even though he's not in the championship chase, but they wanted him to be able to challenge these guys to take that possible 2 points away from the team Target Ganassi cars not getting those possible points.
Ryan Briscoe has just got by Ed Carpenter, so the 3 championship contenders now back 1, 2, 3. Like you say, Robbie, amazing. Scott Dixon just staying there. This is a long race to be running side by side.
And what that does when they're side by side like this, Ryan's back there saying, hey, you guys could have worked together and pulled away, but I'm going to get right on your tail right now.
Close it in quickly in 3rd.
So do you think that move that we saw with Carpenter at the beginning of this race, was that Ryan Briscoe just being a little bit more conservative?
You know what, Robbie, that might be, but when you watch the side-by-side, here's what I think Dixon is doing is now Dixon edges ahead. Remember in Japan, Franchitti was able to make some fantastic mileage. And in fact, Franchitti was able to pit on the same sequence as his teammates. Well, now Scott Dixon is forcing Franchitti to run a lot harder. If you want to look at whoever makes the best mileage, Dixon historically has been that. Maybe he's trying to burn his teammate down a little bit, Robbie Floyd.
Well, over Brian Briscoe's radio, he said, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. You're faster than these guys. You can tell not much concern out of the Penske number 6. Although he has 2 target cars just directly in front of him, you can see how fast he closes in. But 3 wide here, I don't know that you want to be doing that, especially this early.
We have talked a lot about all year, teammates, teammates, teammates. But Bob, you dropped that stat right when we came on the air. It's the first time that the championship has come down in the final race, that is, against 2 teammates. They're not teammates anymore. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're not going to be running nose to tail necessarily because they're individually going after the championship.
But we're not even 10 laps into a 200-lap race. So let's be teammates until we get to the last 25 laps. Obviously,
they're not.
That's not happening.
Dario and Scott battle for the lead. Dario has earned the 2 bonus points for leading the most laps 3 times this season, and he's won all 3 of those races. Stay with us. IndyCar nonstop on Versus.